All right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back. So we're going to do this now. Okay. So this is actually happening. I am going to be much less indirect about this because I just watched Candace's episode where she showed the clip from behind, which was the Terrell Farnsworth episode. I'm sorry, not episode. Footage where he had gone and taken the SD cards out immediately following the assassination, which made her so suspicious. And I looked at it. I thought this through, simulated this out. Where could she have gotten this from? Only one place. What could possibly be the purpose of leaking this to her? I'm going to make some assumptions, and I'm going to just do this now, okay? So I'm actually going to start this off. I'm not monetizing this stream because I can't, because I have to show you stuff that can't be monetized. But we're going to do this just like this, okay? So for all of the people who said that they had watched my series about the reason that I believed that Charlie had manufactured this thing and said they still didn't believe it, I don't believe them, but we're going to change that right now because we're going to start right here. This is how we're going to start this. We're going to watch 12 minutes of that episode where I walked through how they pulled this off on the day of. If I'm right, this is the one disclaimer I'm giving. I don't have any idea if I'm correct. I'm not making any statements of fact. You can't sue me. But at this point, I am operating under the assumption that Charlie and TPUSA leaked that video to Candace, trying to show her what is actually going on in a way where they are not violating any legal agreements that they went into in order to pull this off with the support of the American government. Okay, so we're going to start right here, and then we're going to come back and watch what Candace showed in her new footage. Okay, so this is about 12 minutes we're going to watch right here.
Battery that's unique in that it's very easy to swap. A 2-gram charge of PETN would match the power of a 30-06 and leave 75% of the battery functional, undetectable. That's what he's saying. This is what he's saying. You can see the shock wave travel from the DJI mic outward. His neck and ears quake with the force, and his earpiece flies up as his body is slightly lifted from the explosion. His shirt deformation show a directed blast across his chest with the wave peeking around his neck. So the blast comes from here, and it's aimed this way, and you see his whole shirt come up as if there's a blast underneath his shirt.
As if there's a blast underneath his shirt. Mm-hmm. Just like that, actually.
So let's watch. So you see that, right?
Yes.
Wow.
It's like this strange ripple through his shirt.
You see that, right? So his whole shirt goes up, and then it goes up here. So it looks, it's also a very, very compelling argument that it was his microphone pack underneath his shirt.
Again, this is all assuming that we are trying to solve the same mystery. How Charlie was killed, or how Charlie and his team made it look like he was killed, okay? So now I want to show you this little number, okay? So this is, of course, a very talented makeup and effects artist named Mike Makash, who is an Emmy Award-winning makeup effects artist. And let me just show you why we're watching this right here, because again, we are trying to recreate how they would have done this to demonstrate whether or not it's possible.
I'm Mike McCash, and this is Stan Winston's School of Character Arts. Welcome to my course, Blood Effects, Rig, Apply, and Shoot. Blood effects are used in a variety of type of shows. In this course, the techniques that I will be showing are not just for professionals. I mean, we've started with the basic of the basic things like a syringe, all the way up to, highly tricky pressure pots. So it's good for the hobbyist and it's good for the pro alike. Okay, here's what we're going to cover in today's course. Starting out with materials and equipment. We're also going to discuss bladder types and construction from start to finish. We're going to do a full application for today's course, and we're going to talk about flow of blood versus spraying blood. Once application is complete, we're going to go over actor direction and everything that leads up to the bleeding. And finally, we're going to act out the death scene or the blood gag so you can all see it. Why I love blood effects is because it's the one thing you can do on set that everybody on the crew looks forward to. It's that on-set stress that it's probably the highest amount of stress you're going to feel on set, but when you do it and it comes out correct and you get a standing ovation, or even one person clapping in the background, you feel like you've done something great.
This seems like the right time for me to point out that I realize I have no chance of monetizing this video whatsoever because whatever, I was just asking people to subscribe right there. Let me skip forward. You guys saw how that's done, right? Everybody saw how that's done. You basically build a prosthetic neck that goes across the neck, okay? It appears completely natural, appears part of the body, right? The only thing that you might be able to see is potentially a slight increase in the size of the neck. Maybe if you were going to do it on one side, you might notice that that was the case, but it is literally a false prosthetic neck that is put over someone else's neck with the blood effect built into it, okay? And so if you're going to do this, you have to have that in place in advance. Now, on an unrelated side note, except totally related, Charles McClinton Wilson is a very talented documentarian and a very talented photographer. What did you just say, Jesse on Fire? You are not a very talented photographer. And he had a bunch of images from that day at UVU. And thank you to the fair use law. There's no copyright on me showing this because I'm giving commentary. And so right out of the gate, the one that jumps right off the page is that one. And I showed you what website it's on, just so you know I did not doctor this. That seems to be the side of the neck that Charlie was shot on. And unless I am confused, that does look like there is a big part of the neck that is, I don't know, looks kind of big. You know what I mean? But we can do this together, okay? We can do this all together. Am I seeing things? Or does the side of his neck where he's going to get shot appear to be extremely swollen? I mean, look at this. Look at that jawline. It doesn't exist. It straight up does not exist. It is so swollen on that side. Now look at this though. On the other side, very strong jawline. No indication of a grapefruit under his skin. Look at them compared. There seems to be something over there, but only on one side. And that happens to be the side that he is going to get shot in. Last one, look at how strong his jawline is on the left picture, and on the right, there very much seems to be something different over there. Now, adding a couple more to demonstrate that on another day, his neck looks normal. Every single other day that I looked at, his neck looks normal, except for 9/10. See? On the right side where he is going to be getting shot, it's normal every other day. And then when you compare it here, on the left side, totally normal. And it's not one picture, it's all of the pictures. Every single picture that I looked at from 9/10, the right side of his face and neck are crazy, crazy swollen. Almost like he's wearing a prosthetic. Maybe. Or who knows? Maybe as he's getting older, fat deposits were moving to one side of his neck and face and not the other. Now, let's go ahead and watch Jordan. Now, Jordan has done incredible work, but I'm going to skip forward because there's stuff that's like more pressing right this second that I want everybody to see right behind what we just looked at. Right there. Okay. How big is that hose? Just look at the size of that hose and burn it into your brain.
Mike McCash was basically there, I think. We have his voice.
I think that's actually been disproven that Mike McCash was there, but okay. What you're looking at right here, okay, like, I don't know if you guys can see, like on the white shirt right there is Charlie. The one on the far left is the guy from the example, okay? The guy has a hose down the back, and then you have a connection piece right there that you connect the contraption to, which is going to cause the blood effect. And on the right, that's Charlie's shirt, and you can literally see something that looks exactly like what would be potentially a connection tube that you would connect the contraption to that would make the effect work, okay? And just in case we don't watch far enough, obviously the guys, you know, there's much more coming here in a second, but the guys that jumped over the fence or over the desk and were working on Charlie, they were doing something with Charlie. They were putting hands all over him, but for some reason they weren't getting blood all over themselves at all or anywhere, not on their hands, on nothing. So my hypothesis is that they were theoretically potentially unhooking him from the contraption that made the effect work. And he falls on this big black square thing that looks like what would house one of those big air compression tanks that they were showing in the other thing. But anyway, there's a lot more coming.
We have his face, we have his beard, and we have a little thing on Charlie's back, a little indentation that looks exactly like the connection between the blood black.
And by the way, Jordan Henshaw has done incredible work on this topic. I stole tons of stuff from him about the how, you know, like he's the guy who uncovered this stuff. You should go follow him on X, follow him on YouTube.
And the hose and the air pressure hose in the exact same spot as it is in his tutorial online.
Look at that. Look at that. Okay. Now, I have not gotten into this yet because I can't prove who this is, but this right here is supposedly Butch Hibbs. Okay. Except I think most people agree that is not Butch Hibbs. Butch Hibbs. None of this is important right now. Okay. So now Jordan is also, Jordan rigged up essentially like a makeshift detonation, you know, like an air pressure detonation underneath his shirt that would simulate being hit by the bullet. This out. He just did this at his house with a paintball gun. Now, obviously, the rig that Charlie was using, if that is what was happening, is significantly stronger than the one that Jordan's using, because this is like the stakes of this working are on opposite ends of the universe. But this is similar enough that you got to admit, like, he's rigging this up with a paintball gun. Okay. He's doing this in his house by himself. Right. Look at that. Look at that, dude. I mean, that is just that one right there. This one. Now, this right here. Okay. When I keep on, this is how I always know when people tell me that they've watched the series and they say that they have. And then they're like, yeah, no. And because I bring up the hoses under the shirt and I'm like, nope, you didn't watch it. Because right here, what we're going to show is where everybody said that they're looking at, you know, his microphone, the microphone theory, all that. Okay. Again, I'm not making any statements of fact, like, because disclaimer lawsuit, but now I'm just going to talk to you in, you know, absolutes of what I think. It's a fucking hose. And it's almost, I mean, it's crystal clear. Watch. Oh. We are going to close this out with three things that we're going to look at real quick. Okay. So this is 10 minutes before the shot is taken. Okay. I'm going to resize this a little bit so you can see the whole entire thing. Okay. 10 minutes before the shot is taken.
We're taking this country back, everybody. I'll tell you what.
And obviously keep an eye on this area. What we're looking at is that magnet right there that people thought is holding on a microphone. It's holding something there. It is serving a purpose and holding something in place. But now that you see how you would do a blood effect, now evaluate it against, is it a microphone or is it a hose for a blood effect? The squib is the hose and the squib are underneath his shirt where everybody thought that the microphone was. In my theory, not a statement of fact, but in my theory, what you are looking at right here is a hose and a squib. And you can actually even see, you'll be able to see it in a second. Watch this.
Let's get started. God bless Utah. Yes, sir.
Look at that. Does that look like a microphone, guys? Does that look like a microphone? Is that an exploding microphone? Okay. All the people that told me they would die on this hill. Anybody who's saying, why would he do it? I have an entire series on this and I explained that in thorough detail. We'll talk about it a little bit in this one, but I realized that because we did a live stream, like I joke around with my buddies on live streams, but like, you know, I'm watching people reacting because like at the end of the day, I don't actually care if people agree with me or not. That's not why I was doing this. I was doing this because once I figured out what had actually happened and I looked and realized that Candace has not figured out what's going on, I'm like, oh my God, dude. Okay. And now there's no way for me to know for sure that I'm right about any of this, like, you know, for 100% sure, but I'm pretty goddamn sure. And once I became sure enough that I felt comfortable making the series, and then I'm watching it, I'm watching everybody misinterpret Erica, and then I'm watching them like attack Charlie's wife while I can, like Charlie is not able to come out and say anything. He did this with the support of the US government. He has Trump's support on this, and you can't violate the terms of agreements like that you enter into if it's a WITSEC thing or whatever. And the reason I'm doing this right now is because the fact that Candace got that video from behind Charlie, the only people that had that were Farnsworth and TPUSA, which to me means that they almost certainly saw my series where I've been saying over and over and over. The reason I'm doing this is to try to get people to see certain people to see what's actually going on so they'll stop attacking Charlie's family. And I bet you that they saw it and then they leaked that video to her to be like, look, because when you watch that video, when you see the one that Candace showed yesterday through the eyes of they fucking obviously faked it, dude. It's so obvious. It's so fucking obvious in the new clip. So if I'm making a bad assumption on this to anyone involved in this, then who actually is involved, if I am right, I deeply apologize. I am doing this because I can't stand to watch people not figure this out anymore because it's so fucking obvious to me. I'm trying to help you. If you want me to take it down, just let me know. I'll take them all down. Die on this hill. How you feel now? You sure? Are you starting to question, like if your life is on the line, you still comfortable that no chance that Jesse cracked this thing? And that right there is a hose and a rig that is going to go off. Okay, so we can see it forward. There's no blood anywhere. Everybody knows there's no blood, which has never made any sense. The first time that got on my radar was when Nate Valhalla and another like seasoned operator pointed it out, and obviously anything those guys talk about in combat is just gospel to me. I don't know shit. And both of them were like, it's impossible. It's impossible that there's no blood on these guys. Like they're supposed to be working on them. It's not on their shoes, not on their hands, not on nothing. And then Dubs told me that, he did 24 years in maximum security prison. He's seen 1 million people get stabbed and then carried off the yard. And he said in the clips where Charlie was getting carried, he immediately noticed that there was no blood trail. And given the fact that all of us saw this enormous expulsion of blood when it first happened, it never made any sense at all that there's no blood. And the reason I'm showing you this right here is because I think what this thing is, which is the thing that Charlie fell on, I think this is the thing that would have been housing the air pressure thing, which created the effect that they would have needed to unhook him from. And in other photographs that people sent to me afterwards, they noticed like when they're carrying him, there's a hose that is hanging off of Charlie's body in one of the photographs. Literally, it's visible. I did it in the next episode, which actually ended up getting me got that video demonetized from a 3-second thing that I showed of that photo. But so there's that, and then this is just showing where these guys all are, they're all jumping over the fence or the table and surrounded Charlie immediately following, almost like they knew exactly where to be.
With this plaid shirt guy appearing to snatch something from Charlie's body. So the plaid shirt guy runs over to Charlie Kirk's body, grabs something, then meets up with the brown shirt guy who hands something to the plaid shirt guy. And the person who made this video thinks they took the lav mic from Charlie and the brown shirt guy handed off the detonator device.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what to make of that before, but now I think it's something exactly like that. I think it's devices that were related to making the effect work, or Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably what it was. And I realized, like, so I never know how to present this to new people because, like, for me, I would have never even entertained this theory if I couldn't clock the why first. Like, if I can't figure out why someone would do something, I won't even listen to a theory. I don't care if they, like, if someone could show me all this, and if I can't, like, back into why they do it, I'd be like, okay, yeah, this looks like whatever, but I can't, like, it's flat earth shit to me, right? The why, in the simplest, quickest terms, before I show you the Candace thing, I can show you real quick right here, just in the most basic terms, okay? Because I didn't know about this before either, okay?
Mentioned this clip.
Do you know why I cried on election night?
Because you thought it was a restoration of the Judeo-Christian
Partly.
values that are inherent to
It's
the Constitution.
Let me tell you why, because I think you might appreciate this as a historian. Joe Biden sent the entire federal government after Turning Point USA and me personally. They wanted me in federal prison.
Right.
We don't want that. And by the way, that's what despots do, not
Sure.
Donald Trump. Let me finish. And so when Donald Trump won, it was a sigh of relief that maybe I won't have to go to federal prison.
Sure.
Maybe I can actually be around my kids. And maybe we can live in a free society.
And again, even though I have that clip in the very first episode that I did, and I kind of factored it into how, like, I got, you know, it was part of why I thought he did it. I very recently came into a new piece of information related to that it was like another thing. You know, I got to, like, where at first I would say I was like 87%. Then it was like, then I got to like 90. Then it was like, now I think, man, I might be at like 92, 94 or whatever. This bumped me up huge, this piece, which was that I was preparing to do another episode on this, and I looked up the details of the Paul Manafort case, and I don't remember exactly what brought me back to evaluating the Manafort thing. But if anybody doesn't remember who Paul Manafort was, okay, so here's the timeline. Trump is, you know, obviously Trump was running for office in 2016. Manafort joined the Trump campaign March 29th of 2016. And is as a convention manager to help secure the Republican nomination at the Republican National Convention, because Trump had never done this shit before, right? He's popular. And now in hindsight, the Democrats, DNC, were actually intentionally propping Trump up because they thought that he had no chance of beating Hillary Clinton, right? And it wasn't, and what they had not calculated into their equation was A, how charismatic he was, B, how unlikable, you know, Hillary Clinton was. And then also all the Cambridge Analytica stuff, and the first campaign that actually really effectively leveraged the data that you could extract from social media, and then the ability to influence people once you had their baseline viewpoints on things. And when it came to the convention, Trump doesn't know how to deal with any of this stuff. Like, dude, if I want to run for office, I know how to get on a stage and go, like, talk and make people laugh. I don't have any idea how any of this shit works. Like when I talked to Destiny, all that was like, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and everybody's like, oh my God, you get destroyed in this debate. It was because Destiny brought up the thing about the slate of electors thing that actually ended up being connected to TPUSA. And I just looked at him all blank. I'm like, what? I don't know about that. And I don't know shit about political, like the specifics of how all this stuff works in terms of like procedure and all that. I don't know any of that stuff. Trump, I would imagine, actually I know, because when he was fucking president, they passed his healthcare bill through the House, and he had a fucking concert group come in to start celebrating, and it only passed the House. Remember that? That's the funniest shit ever. So he goes in there, he doesn't have any idea what to do. Manafort is the first like serious person to come in on his campaign. He had been working in Ukraine, and he had been working with like the Russian friendly side over there, that was kind of, you know, loyal to Putin or whatever. And so he comes over, he ends up being an incredibly effective campaign manager, and they end up winning, right? And then the Russiagate thing starts, right? And they appoint a special counsel. Everybody remembers this. It was Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller is a special counsel who is then given massive powers to investigate the people who are all around Trump and the Trump campaign. And they look for connections to Russia or whatever. But we all know that was not real. But Paul Manafort, who was one of the absolute top key guys to getting Trump elected, they fucking rung him up and they sent him to prison for 7.5 years over stuff that like they would never even have looked at in a million years if they weren't intentionally politically targeting him because of his association with Trump and the fact that he helped Trump win. Charlie, okay, If Trump does not win the election, Jack Smith was a special prosecutor. Identical situation to Mueller and Manafort. Exactly the same, with one major difference, in my opinion. Okay. Number one is that by this time, they were way more ruthless, right? They were way more ruthless now. They were going to bury people in prison. Jack Smith, these guys had taken the gloves off at this point. This is like 2016, 2017. They all still believed that they had control and they needed to like make an example of some people around Trump and then this would be over. By the time you're in fucking 2024, the deep state guys, the institution, they're fighting for their fucking lives. This is like a war of the worlds at this point. Okay. Like if they're putting Manafort in jail back then, and given the fact that also Manafort didn't have that much potential impact on the future kind of clash for, who's going to win in this power game for global dominance for the next 100 years with AI coming in behind it and whoever controls the AI is going to control. Like the stakes were so fucking high in 2024 versus 2016. And Charlie Kirk is one of the most effective warriors in this type of battle ever, and probably the most impactful person in the world at that time. If Trump doesn't win, they were going to fucking bury him under the prison. Absolutely for sure. As certain as gravity exists, he was going to prison for sure if Trump would have lost. And if Jack Smith, and here's the other thing too, because of all of this stuff that's happened due to the assassination and all of the investigative work, incredible investigative work that all these people have done, I have insight into things I would have never known. I would have never looked at TPUSA's, financials. I try not to get too specific about that because I'm on their side in terms of like, I see this whole thing very differently than anyone else. I can pretty much guarantee that. Like, I have a much more holistic view, and I don't care about where, allocation of funds and 501c3s go as long as nobody's getting hurt. But I have enough business experience to look at what they're doing. I'm like, there is definitely illegality here. If you have a special counsel with a mandate to find reasons to put people in prison, he was cooked, dude. And if Charlie was cooked, what that means is so were all of his top leadership, most likely. I'm not sure if they would have known that for sure throughout this whole thing, because Charlie strikes me as the kind of person who would have fucking carried that. He would have known, and he would have carried it as to not make them afraid until they had to be afraid. But what he did here by doing this, okay, everybody, what's the why? Okay, he's fucking terrified. Can you imagine the thought of, you're looking at your kids? Like, I have young kids like Charlie, dude. You're looking at your kids and there is an inevitability. There's no negotiating with these people. Like, this is the equivalent of you have a serial killer who has fucking captured you and you're in a chair and you can't move, you can't do anything, and you're trying to talk your way out of it. There's no fucking talking your way out of it, dude. If you're Charlie and you're dealing with Jack Smith, these guys, there's no deals, there's no maneuvering. You are target one, you're fucking done, cooked. If I know that, and I fucking know that, he knew that. Terror. Okay, I can't even imagine the fear that I would have been living under. And fear will make you, like, especially a problem solver like Charlie, will make you think of unbelievable solutions. He's going to solve the problem one way or the other, or he's going to try to find a way. And if he's dead, they can't put him in prison. And here's the other thing, right? By doing this, if I'm right, okay, he sends out the Doge, we're going to do a Doge-style audit. And everybody goes, oh, fuck, there it is. That's the motive. That's why these guys killed Charlie, is because Charlie was about to discover all their financial malfeasance. So they were robbing this place blind, and Charlie was going to find out. So all these TPUSA conspired to kill him, which, by the way, on its face makes no sense, okay? As soon as you establish that you have 5 people that on the day of, who are Charlie's inner circle, were definitely involved in what happened, you should throw the idea that this is a murder out the window on its face, because that's common sense. That is not how murders work. That is not how anything fucking works. That's impossible. Okay. There's not 5 TPUSA people playing a role in killing Charlie Kirk. That's not real. Okay. But what he did when he does the Doe style audit thing, what he actually did is puts a written, it's in writing now that Charlie is taking over. He's putting a written contractual line in the sand where now that he dies immediately afterwards, that every single thing that has happened up to that point, if they decide to prosecute or try to build a case against TPUSA in the future, all of it's on Charlie. It's a complete blank slate. They go, listen, that's the Charlie era. That's the Charlie era, man. Like, we weren't responsible for the financials there. So what he actually did if you want to put it into religious terms, is he fucking sacrificed himself for all of his people that everybody is going out there and fucking saying murdered him. That's why I did the fucking, that's the real reason I did this. Once I put this all together, I was like, oh my God, dude. Charlie gave himself up to fucking protect these guys. And Erica, he loved and trusted her so much that he fucking trusted her to put her in position where he can run everything through her. And then look at what the fucking result is, because she can't sell grieving widow because he's not fucking dead. So everybody's misreading it and they're going, this demon spawn, she's a fucking demon spawn. And then it turns into like an internet feeding frenzy where everybody genuinely believes that she's like this super evil character. And especially with Candace, because I have no beef with Candace, the exact opposite. I know why Candace is doing this is because they were fucking lying to her. She knows all these people. She knows all of them. So she's calling Farnsworth. She's like, let me see that fuck. Charlie, dude, her and Charlie were super close. I don't want to get into how but I know this for a fact. This is not me speculating. Like, I know that they were genuine, real friends. All the shit that's out there that they weren't is not true. Okay. So to her, like, Charlie's one of her, you know what it's like to be an attractive female and have a friend that like a tall, good looking dude that you're friends with for that amount of time, that you never have to worry about having any kind of schemy shit on you. That, like, I am friends with like a handful of girls like that. And like, that's a fucking really big deal for attractive girls to have a dude that they trust like that. It's a really fucking big deal. So she thinks they whacked out his friend, her friend, and she's going to them. And every time she asks them a question, they're lying to her, because the way Charlie had to have gotten this done is he went to Trump, goes to Trump, explains his idea. He says that, look, we're going to do this. We're going to turn this into a positive for everyone. I'm going to be able to, exonerate. I don't even know how much he would have shared that side with Trump, because I don't think he would have necessarily needed to. If it were me, I would have put it in terms that Trump understands and cares about, which would have been, this will serve like the same as Butler, and it's going to do nothing but just absolutely, explode your popularity and the popularity of our side. We're going to win every election for the next 150 years. JD will win. Erica can be his VP. Then Erica can run for president, and we're going to clean the world of these demons that are trying to destroy the world. He sells Trump. He only needs one yes. One. He needs to sell Trump. That's it. If Trump says yes, everyone else falls in line. The reason they're doing it in Utah is because the Mormon community is so tight. And if you have a couple Mormon leaders, Gabrielle and I lived in Utah for a year. We have enormous respect for that community. We have had nothing but good dealings with that community. And if you know someone with real power on the state level in Utah, you can get shit done that you can't get done anywhere else. And you have all of these TPUSA leadership insiders who come from the LDS community, is my hypothesis of why they're doing it there. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Tyler Robinson. I have no idea where Charlie is. I know he almost certainly is with his kids. The idea that he's like in Witsec, like on some fucking desert island, is ridiculous. He wouldn't have done it like that. You can run your business from inside your house. Gabrielle and I, we almost never leave. You homeschool the kids, you can be dead, dude. Now, when it comes to, well, actually, you know what? Let me show you Candace's video. I just got completely carried away, obviously. But here, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. But the reason, again, that I have no issue at all with Candace is because every time she asks them a question, they lie to her, because she's trying to solve a murder and she's trying to figure out who's involved, and they're all involved because Trump says yes, and he green lights them the resources to do this. Cash, probably, using, why would you not use the resources that you have at your fingertips? Cash and Trump are his friends, and they control the United States government. They go, oh yeah, we have this budget for the witness protection program there, and we can use, intelligence, whatever. Like, it's like these people can actually do this. Like, people talk about this like this is the fucking movies. Okay. It's not the movies. This is real life. There are real budgets for witness protection, for fucking military intelligence. Fort Huachuca, almost certainly, I don't know about almost certainly. My hypothesis, probably where they drilled this over and over and over and rehearsed it, which is why Mikey McCoy looks so fucking robotic when he just walked off. Same with Terrell Farnsworth, immediately goes and hits his fucking line, is standing on the thing to capture a perfect video. All the, probably 90% of the videos that we've seen from that day were people that they set up to specifically capture the shots that they wanted, and Candace is not like, I've never had any problem with anything Candace did, even when I completely disagreed with her hypothesis, like before I figured this out. But like, because I could just tell. I'm like, dude, she's really trying to solve this thing. I don't have any problem with people I disagree with. And the more they lied to her, the more suspicious they got. And so, of course, she met with Erica. She asked all of her questions. If Charlie and them did use the resources that I'm laying out, then there are legal. You can't just be like, oh, now I need to tell Candace because this has gotten inconvenient. Like, you can't fucking break the rules like that. And I don't know why they would have had her on the outside of this, but that was an absolutely astronomical, catastrophic mistake, obviously. But now I think that they're trying to get her to see what is actually going on so she'll relax. And again, I think literally the reason I'm doing this is I'm trying to smash this whole thing. What I did in like 6 hours before, I'm trying to smash it into like 45 minutes because I think once she sees just a smidgen of it and just starts to like unwind this, she's going to figure it out in fucking 2 hours. She's smarter than I am, dude. You know? Okay, so here's her clip.
So why today? Why now? Well, it's been 6 months, and I frankly think we all feel pretty confident that Turning Point is there's some sort of a brand hostile takeover going at the very least, right? Zionists are in there. They didn't kill them, but they are going to now force people that Charlie didn't like at the helm of this company, right? They're going to defend those individuals. And I think we are very much entitled to that opinion that something's not right. In the beginning, I was not sure about Erica. I thought maybe she is dealing with a lot behind the scenes, trying to figure out where the snakes are. I do not feel that way today about Erica. I now feel her motives are impure. And that's putting it lightly. I now know for a fact she is dishonest. Her background, there are pathological lies all throughout it. And so the internet must have everything because the people that should be defending Charlie are not. No, they're not defending Charlie at all. They are going around actually trying to spread this Fed slop and trying to guilt us and trying to tell us that we're demonic for recognizing that's something we were forced to.
It's because all of the people who are closest to Charlie that she knows are closest to Charlie and she expects to be as upset as her are on the other side of the fence and are on the inside of this thing. That's why. That's what I'm saying. Like, Candace could burn their fucking house to the ground and I would have no problem with it because I understand her. And they're lying to her. They've been lying to her this entire fucking time. You know, whatever the circumstances are, they've been lying. So of course she thinks that they betrayed him. She is interpreting this exactly diametrically opposite because of course she is. She has clocked it correct that they're all involved because they are, except she's solving the wrong crime. Oh, fuck me, dude. Where did I just go?
Going around actually trying to spread this Fed slop and trying to guilt us and trying to tell us that we're demonic for recognizing that's something we were forced to all, I guess, not partake, but look at what was an occult ceremony. I believe Charlie's death, the setting of it, everything was planned down to the T. I believe he was sacrificed. Okay. And so we want to share all the evidence that we have so that the people that I bet Charlie wishes he was friends with, the YouTubers that have spent time on this, the people that have put things together to try to figure out what did happen on that day, I bet he wishes those were his associates.
I'm doing this trying to help him, Candace, Erica, that whole circle. That is the entirety of the reason that I did this and why I'm doing this right now. It's not even fucking monetized. And I told them every episode that I've done, I'm like, if you guys want me to take this down, all you have to do is ask. I'll erase it and I'll just never talk about it ever again.
And not the people that he spent so much time building up. All right, so first, let us begin with the photos inside the van. We had only showed one. I'm going to show you this one here so that you guys can take this. Here is a closer bit. I do want to point out that it does very much look to me like there is some sort of shattered glass in the back. I know some people think that this could be a part of.
The main thing to take in on this picture is where the fuck is all of the blood that should have come out of a human who got shot in the neck and exploded an artery in front of everyone? Not there. Okay. It's not there. There's nothing else to gain from that. Here's another picture. You have a little bit of blood on the seats here and here. Like there is no blood. Like there's no fucking blood. There's not even a tiny percentage of the blood that should be there. In addition to the fact that, you know, I mean, listen, I've done like 7 or 8 episodes on this and I'm trying to remember the most important pieces of this. there's a video of the first responders chasing Charlie's team while they're carrying him, like trying to give first aid, and they ignore them, and then they try to give them the bag, and they don't even take the bag. There's like, they're not only did they not do any first aid, they actually blocked people from doing first aid because
like a UPS, yeah, I guess you could say a UPS package ticket. What that is actually InstaClot, and which is essentially instant gauze, and there's just one on the floor.
One piece of instant gauze. Okay, hang on. So now this part right here, I'm going to try to maintain a serious tone because I really mean for this to be like the most serious fucking thing I've done on this. But I am going to break character on that just for a second, because for those of you who now for the first time are able to like get through the Jesse's insane and be like, oh, or maybe not. And as she's describing the interaction she had with Terrell Farnsworth, where she was trying to get this video from him and he was trying to talk his way around not sending it to her, just sending it to her, which I remembered way back then. I never put too much thought into it because I had already decided that there was no way anyone at TPUSA would have, you know, like none of these people would be involved in murdering Charlie. So I never really thought a lot about that stuff. But now I want you guys to imagine fucking Farnsworth trying to think of a reason that he can talk Candace out of wanting him to send her the video. She is a fucking dragon of generational terror. And Farnsworth is the fucking TPUSA like media guy who's never been involved in anything like this. And all he knows is he definitely is not allowed to send this fucking video to anyone. And he's got her breathing down his neck. I find that thought so funny that I actually can't even believe it. But think about that as she's telling the story.
Now we're going to get into this video. This is a long video. I told you guys how this happened, how I came about this. At the beginning, I didn't suspect anything with Turning Point, obviously. That all changed after I had a phone call with Terrell. I recognized he was acting very strange on the phone, lying, saying he didn't know how to send.
Okay, and anybody who's like coming in now and commenting on this, just go to the beginning of the stream and watch the first 20 minutes where we go through the hoses and all the other shit that makes it fucking, you know, you're going to still have to remember certain things like there's no exit wound from a supposed 30-06. There's like, no one has any explanation for any of this stuff. My explanation literally answers every single question that anyone has ever had in this entire fucking investigation, top to bottom with no exceptions. But again, if this all sounds insane, just go back to the beginning because I will probably just look crazy. And then if you watch the whole thing, then I will definitely not look crazy.
The file, I was genuinely reaching out to him because I thought I could help clear his name because people thought he was suspicious for taking down the camera. And I thought he was going to give me a perfectly reasonable reason as to why he did that. Like, oh, I was just instructed by the Fed or something to do that. And I was nervous. Nope. Just excuse after excuse. And I didn't understand why there would be any reason he was lying, saying he didn't know how to send a file, but you run an audio-visual company, Terrell Farnsworth.
Because it is unfathomable that this would have been fake at the time. So like, of course, she's like, why is this fucking guy lying about this weird shit? Okay, here's the video.
And have the footage. They have the footage. Okay. This is, Terrell was at his office when he showed me this. And here we go. You can just play this. And if you guys are just on audio, you'll obviously need to come cut this on video because I can't really describe, obviously, the question is being asked. At this moment right here, we had assumed initially that was his recorder or something. I can confirm, you'll see later, that it's whipping fast and it looks white when it whips fast, but that is in fact his necklace. That is his necklace. And
which probably was holding the charge at the end of it that was going to start the entire thing.
Find that for some reason to be very strange that the necklace goes up first. You can see this obviously. And by the way, there's no gore in this. So you don't really need viewer discretion because like I said, which kind of broke the internet, the bullet didn't go through, and not only did not go through, it didn't even cause any sort of a mess. His perfectly white t-shirt was white until the moment that he hit the ground.
And like, this is one of those moments that I've just, this is probably a waste of my energy, but because obviously I know there's always going to be people like, it's like, I'll read like 2 comments and I'm like, oh, okay, I should address those. And like, it's stupid because there's always going to be a bunch of people that are just, oh, this is crazy. But like, if you actually think that this is crazy, if you think it's like crazy, the exercise I would encourage you to do is to ask yourself how you reconcile a gunshot wound that had an enormous amount of blood come out in front of everyone, which then completely stopped bleeding completely. No one, including any ballistics, there's no explanation whatsoever of how there could be a gunshot through his neck that does not have an exit wound. Okay. The lack of blood from any of these, like all of it's all right there. And I don't understand how anyone could be looking at this and be saying with certainty that the thing I'm proposing is impossible when every other, like it's the whole thing is impossible absent a different explanation than that guy shot him with a rifle. That is clearly not the answer for this. It's never been the answer. Everybody's always known it's not the answer. But you know what? That's the last I'm going to address that kind of shit. I'm trying to stay on task for this.
Skylar, we can get to that portion, I guess, where they can more clearly see the, well, first we can show them the magnet that's still on him. I guess we'll get to that. The
magnet that was holding the hose, which we showed in the original portion of this live stream that you can see under a shirt. You can see it clear as day. It's a hose that's underneath there. Go back and watch it.
Yeah, there you go. We can pause there so they can see that that is his necklace. And it's I don't know how to describe that. I don't know if you would say it's still on him. There was a lot of story. Everybody had a personal story about Charlie's necklace, which struck me as very odd. Okay. It struck me as odd because, you know, Erica, Frank tells the story about how he came out to get his backpack from the car as the feds were searching it at the hospital. And he saw Charlie's necklace on his backpack, which was in the car. And the feds said, we were looking for that necklace. Really? Why were the feds looking for the necklace? How did they know he had a necklace? That's very strange. Erica, of course, has told several stories about the necklace and how precious the necklace was to him and how grateful she was that she got the necklace back.
I'm sorry. This is an excellent question. I was trying to avoid these, but this is an excellent question. Why would he fake his death since Trump won? Because to avoid prison permanently would need to assume that they were going to remain in the majority power, both president, you know, and Congress, which was extraordinarily unlikely. And after facing down that threat, which was inevitable to him if they wouldn't have won, as a father, like I'm not that much older than him. I have kids that are a similar age to him. I can very, very, very much imagine exactly what the emotional process, what that was like for him. And I would do anything. I would do anything to ensure that I was going to be around to raise my kids and not go to federal prison and to just like hope that it did, you know, to hope that the other side was like vanquished permanently and then they never got back into power would be absurd. Because the thing is, once they open the door on prosecuting people on each side, this shit's never going to end. That's why when they first started doing it to Trump, I had such a massive problem with it. It wasn't like, you know, like, I mean, obviously there's going to be like the diehard MAGA people and there's going to be the diehard whatever. Like I'm never in any of those groups. I'm in I choose what's right for me now, but I am very good at picking out precedent and things that I can bank on. Well, this is going to be a really big deal going forward. And as soon as they started prosecuting Trump, I'm like, they've never gone after any president legally before. Even back to Nixon, like that was a line they did not cross. As soon as they opened that door, I'm like, this is never going to end now, dude. They're going to just keep doing it back and forth. And spoiler, what it's going to end up happening, you know, kind of unrelated to this, is 25 years from now, no one who's smart and capable is going to go into government. Because why the fuck would you risk going to prison? Okay, like if you can be doing things that are, you know, not even necessarily like you would even realize they're illegal or like a little bit on the margins, and you catch 10 years when you can just sit in an investment banking job or whatever job, make 50 times the money and have no risk of jail. No one is going to go into government. It's going to degrade the country. It is going to be a massive net negative in the long run. But as far as Charlie's concerned, as soon as he takes himself off the map, the risk of that ever being his future is gone. That's why.
I think maybe even Brian Hartpole had a story about that. I got to go back and look through it. But everyone's got a story about the necklace. It seems like a strange focus of this day. And so I want to just point that out, that it is the necklace that is hanging. You can see that. And maybe you can see it clearer when it's on my phone. So like I said, I'm happy to send around, but you can at some points even see and observe the chain. Again, this is after Charlie is hit. So you are seeing 0 blood heading backward. That feels wrong to me. That instantly felt wrong to me for what they are telling us took place here, which is
0 blood, period. Like 0 blood, period, which is all wrong.
30-6. It's not even enough to pretend that this was like an event where it already is, I would say, insane to try to say this was some miracle event and, you know, Charlie's neck stopped this. It gets even crazier when you say, but it didn't even cause any blood. Everything you saw was blood that came because an artery got hit and that went forward. So I just want to say that. I will never buy the narrative that a
Yep, she's right. And then now I just wanted to remind everybody of this little number. This seemed important enough that I don't want to forget. So Milo Yiannopoulos went on to Tim Pool's show, okay, on December 5th, okay? Well, or this aired on December 5th, okay? You can see that right there. December 5th, okay? Now, what came out of that episode was the following, okay? This is the clip right here taken from that episode. This one was posted on the 6th, but the actual episode was on the 5th. This is a clip taken from the episode that was posted on the 5th, and the date is very important, okay? So let's watch this together. Oh, I'm sorry, some context. They right now are talking about Candace Owens and her investigation into the Charlie Kirk case. Tim, this is when Tim was going on his tirade. This is right around where he was calling her the C word, all of that stuff, okay? So let's go ahead and rock and roll.
For lawyers to share offices with government departments.
She did not vet
for the security,
that the planes at the airports actually loaded up cars and went to that building. She made that up.
You're not going to hear from me that she's got everything right. I'm not here to say that.
Endless, just
clearly that's not the case. But first of all, I believe that she is motivated by a sincere desire to find out what happened to Charlie Kirk.
100% agree with him and always have.
Second,
agree.
We don't know. We still don't know because they are telling untruths about it. I know for a fact, for an absolute fact, that Charlie has not been buried yet. I know for an absolute incontrovertible fact he's not.
And this is December 6th, which, you know, listen, I might need a refresher in counting to 1, 2, 3, but that's 3 months after he got murdered. 3 months. Does that sound normal? Has not been buried yet? He hasn't been buried yet. What? But how does that make sense? Okay. More to come. And again, this is December 6th, but the actual thing happened on, well, it got posted on December 5th. Okay. I don't know when they recorded it. It could have been 3rd, 4th, but the 5th is when it actually went up. Very important. Okay. Let's let him finish his thought though, because this is definitely true according to him. And does he seem like he's lying? And also the TPUSA responded to this almost immediately afterwards. And I'll tell you what they said afterwards.
Why? When there's no good reason for it. I know for a fact, I'm going to tell you, you know that my faith is sincere, I hope. Right. You know that I thanks for leaving that dark. Thanks for leaving the silence there. No, I hope that you understand that I'm a sincere person. I swear on my Lord boy I lost. I swear, cat, not person, but, you know, I swear on.
The fact that he had to clarify that he was talking about a cat means that he's an honest person on its own. And I've always very much enjoyed Milo Yiannopoulos.
On God, on the Blessed Mother, I swear on Jesus Christ. I know for an incontrovertible fact that Charlie has not been buried yet. There's no good reason for that. None whatsoever, unless some trickery is afoot.
And so here's what ended up happening with that. Okay. Remember when Erica went on the second media tour? So the first media tour was immediately following the, the assassination. She does the immediate speech, where she's talking to herself, super weird, very much not in any capacity prepared for the role that she was expected to play, which is why one of the 2 main reasons this entire thing blew up in their face. And then she did the memorial, and then she did a few podcasts, and then the world started turning on her, and they knew, like, they recognized, because everybody started talking. They're like, doesn't she want to go take a fucking nap? Doesn't she want to, like, go hang out with her kids? Where are her kids? Hey, where do you guys think her kids? Well, actually, I don't know. The ones who are with me, where do you think her kids were? They're with fucking Charlie. That's why she's out doing this stuff. They're with Charlie. Okay. And so they realized that the sentiment's turning towards her. And so they pulled her back. They pulled her back hard. They're like, okay, let's give it some time. They still had intentions, according to things. I don't want to go all the way through Candace's recent stuff, But I did not realize until recently that they were dead serious about running Erica as JD's running mate. I did not know that. But so they pulled her back. She came back out right after Milo made those statements on Tim Pool, and like 4 or 5 days later is when she went out on that like CBS and Fox News, and that was when she was like, "Can I just have this one thing? Can I just have this one thing? We're going to build a grand memorial to Charlie, whatever." And that was in response to them asking her about conspiracy theories that Charlie's body had not been buried yet, which means, in my opinion, this is actually just like, I mean, I wouldn't put this at higher than fucking 60%, but my guess is that they were like, holy shit. Like that was like a big thing that got out, you know, and they were like, oh shit. Cause it was immediately after. Now, another interesting detail about that is that, remember when Tim Pool's house got shot up, you know, or Tim Pool said that there was a shooting at his house? You want to know when that happened? December fucking 7th. Okay. December 5th, they put out the original one. That clip goes viral, or that comes out on the 6th, where he says Charlie's body was not buried yet. 1 day later, Tim Pool has this huge story about his house getting shot up, and the media cycle fucking completely swallowed it, and no one even realized that Milo had said that Charlie's body hadn't been buried. But you know who remembered? Me, because I fucking remember everything. I don't know what to do with everything, but at a certain point, it just goes and converges, and it's like, wait a minute, dude. Wait a minute. Okay, so you know what, dude? I wanted to keep this less than an hour, and I'm going to do that. I'm gonna sign off right now. But what evidence did I see that Charlie was going to jail? Do you mean like aside from Charlie saying that he had been targeted, or are you talking about like what like specific evidence that I saw? Well, actually, I'll just answer it like this. Charlie is the one who said that he had the entire weight of the federal government set against him, and that they were that they wanted to see him in federal prison. That's directly out of Charlie's mouth. Go to the beginning of the stream. I showed the clip. The things that I saw were all related to like that, where Wolves in Finance had initially started digging into TPUSA's financials, and then a bunch of other guys, Danks and some other people, like really dug into how they were allocating money. I don't want to get into specifics on the things that I saw that I think were, you know, on the margins, because I'm not trying to jam them up with cases and shit. But like, to me, I recognize it because I know how to, you know, like I've owned businesses. I know how to move money around. And there are very specific things in how they were paying certain people while in certain roles and whatever. There was like very clear double dipping and whatever that, like, you know, it's a federal 501c3. Like there are things you can do, things you can't. I don't know the law very well. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not like actually throwing a case at them. I'm saying that if I know how the special prosecutors work, and the kinds of things that they were charging in the Russiagate investigation. They were charging guys for supposedly lying to the FBI, and like the whole thing wasn't even fucking true and all that. Like they are out to bury people under the prison. That is a political, like, it's the equivalent of a military move, getting a special prosecutor against, like, you know, Trump and TPUSA and all of them. And they have so much power. They were, and Charlie's literally number 2. He's like the, you know, if Saddam is the ace of the deck or whatever, or ace of spades, Charlie was for sure an ace. And it was not going to, I mean, I can't say specifically, but they were going to get him, dude. And I doubt he's going to be making any public statements ever, but if he ever did, I guarantee he would validate that. Okay. We're at the hour. I love you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. And hopefully, again, I don't care if people think I'm wrong. I really don't. Like, I'm not trying to argue with anybody. If you think it's fucking crazy, it's fine. I told you guys why I did this. And if anybody wants me to take it down, hit me up. I'll take it down. I will fucking never tell anyone on my children's lives, and I'll never talk about it ever again. I love you guys.